Good morning. I hope that you are having a beautiful day. I am going to tell you, like I say every single time before I do these videos, if you have clicked onto this, I am sure that this is for you. So please just take the time to listen to it. If you're scrolling, we have an opportunity every single day to choose what we put into our heads and what we put into our hearts, and those things affect us. And so I hope you take the time to listen to this because I'm sure it's for you. Today is day 7 of my prayer and fast, hopping online, breaking down this Bible. Don't turn me off if you hear the word Bible, okay? This might be an opportunity for you. If you never have really grasped the Bible, if you've never really opened the Bible, if you don't agree with the Bible, wherever your stance is on the Bible, this might be an opportunity for you to hear it a different way for the first time. So my challenge is just to kind of open some hearts and open some ears and get people thinking about the possibility of, is there a better way to do life than how I am currently doing it? Is there a handbook for how to do life better than I am currently doing it? And that is my goal, is to get on here and just kind of break this down. I was not always a God girl. I'm not some Bible thumper. I spent over 40 years just doing life my own way. And then I finally just surrendered and fought with God for about 3 or 4 years. And then obviously now I'm in it. And so my goal is to snag anybody along the way. So I hope you take some time to listen to this. This is day 7. And today the Facebook Live is going to be 3 prayers. You know, we're talking about changing our lives. We're talking about changing ourselves and changing our lives. And yesterday was a whole verse a whole Facebook Live on prayer. But sometimes people can complicate prayer. They can go in there talking to God, and they can be kind of fake and prim and proper. They can go in there and they can pray for very, very, very much specifics, but then they leave out a whole bunch of their darknesses. They think that God doesn't hear them anyway, so they don't even bother. There's lots of different mindsets that go on with prayer. And so I want to take today's Facebook Live and I want to give you just 3 prayers. 3 basic, easy prayers that I am certain are going to cover all of your prayers, okay? Just again, I'm trying to make the Bible more understandable, and I'm trying to make your prayer life easier, and I'm trying to make your walk clearer so you can start getting your mind away from this is some religion and learning that this is a relationship. It's a relationship between you and Jesus. And I know a lot of the stuff I'm going to say sounds cuckoo crazy, but at the end of the day, I can't deny it. 40 years without it, and now it's been about over 40 years without it. And now it's been about 9 or 10 that I've been in it. And God is real. And Jesus is real. And the Holy Spirit is real. And the power that comes along with those, if you choose, to grab hold, the power that comes along with Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit is absolutely undeniable. And if you don't believe in it, walk with me for this next 30 days. You've got nothing to lose by just walking with me and hearing me out for the next 30 days. And at the end of the 30 days, if you're like, this is nonsense, fabulous, wonderful, go back about your life. God's going to get you when he's going to get you. I believe that wholeheartedly. But sometimes he puts people in your path to help get you sooner. And my one regret out of this entire faith journey was that I just didn't grab hold of God sooner. My life would have been much better had I am less chaotic, less stressful, less anxious, less fearful, less dark, less prideful, less things being ran by myself than, the creator of the universe. Okay, I'm going to get right into it. So these are 3 prayers, you guys, 3 prayers that if you can get behind these 3 prayers every single day, before your feet hit the floor in the morning, you get up, the first thing people normally think about is, ugh, the day. What do I got to do today? Or, ugh, all the stuff that still happened yesterday that I'm bringing into today. Or, ugh, the future's terrifying. What am I going to do with the future? Or, ugh, myself and my life and my thoughts. There's so many things when we wake up in the morning that just bombard our minds. And a lot of people, first thing they do, they get up, they walk to the toilet, they click on Facebook, they click on Instagram, they click on social media, they click on the news. My challenge to you, before you click on anything, you say these 3 prayers to God. Okay, you say these and you do it every single day. And I promise you, if you stick with me over the next 30 days and let this be part of your routine, you are going to experience the love and the power and the like unbelievable disbelief awe of God. Because it's real. And when he knows that a heart is searching for him, he's searching the world, searching for hearts that are searching for him. He doesn't search the world the way we do. So that's why we're not supposed to be judging other people and condemning other people. We're supposed to pray for them and love them and guide them to God and let him work it out. Okay, prayer number 1 is this. Help. It's that easy. Help. Every single one of us have our own battles, our own daily battles, our own daily situations, our own things from the past, our own fears from the future, and our own thoughts. I did one on controlling your thoughts. Our thought life will either make our lives thrive or destroy our lives. And so one of the very first prayers that you need to wholeheartedly, humbly go to God is say, help. Help me. What does the Bible say about it? Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10 says this. God's saying this to you. Okay, so as you're praying to him, this is what God is saying to you. He says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous hand. Okay, now the very most important part about that is you got to remember God gave us free will. Okay? And everybody that is walking around on this earth, if you're anything like me, you're like, I ain't going to be told what to do. He instilled that in us intentionally. I ain't going to be told what to do. So we would learn. We can't do it on our own. We need him. And then we turn back to him. And what does he do? He upholds us. And he strengthens us. And he guides us. And he helps us. And if you are not a believer, if you're watching this just somehow, I promise you that is God tugging on your heart, number 1. But if you're not a believer, I wasn't always a believer. And when I started this faith journey, my biggest prayer was, help me with my unbelief. I don't even know if I'm praying to anything, but I can't do it on my own, so I'm giving it a try. So whatever you're walking in today, no matter what it is, even if it is unbelief, even if it is, I believe in God, but I hate him. I'm mad at him for the life that he has handed out to me. Okay, take that to God. Help God. If it's addiction and you've been in it for years and you've never been able to beat it, wake up every single morning of your life and go, help, with a surrendered heart. I know too many people that get in their prayers and they go, God, they treat him like a magic genie. God, help me with this, and God, help me with that. But they don't put any heart into it. They don't put any humility into it. They don't put any surrender into it. So your first prayer, help me with whatever it is. And I want to break it down to just a little bit smaller, because a lot of us are praying for things for the future, or praying for healing scars of the past. This is so important. This next prayer, this next Bible verse, this has helped me immensely, but it takes intentionality. Psalms 118 verse 24 says this: today is the day the Lord has created. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Today is the day of the Lord. So as you're going through your day, as you get up in the morning, you go, God, help me with this, and help me with this, all of your stuff, lay it all out there. Then step back a little bit further and remind yourself that God tells us today's really the only day that we have. Yesterday's gone. Can't change it. You can learn from it. Tomorrow's not here and it's not promised, and we all know that. So today is the day the Lord has created. So as you're praying for the big things, as you're going through challenges and hard times and darkness and stuff from the past and stuff from the future and stuff that's going on right now, whatever it is in your life, as you're doing all of that, we all are, remind yourself, today's the day that I have. Today's the actual day that I have in my hands. And it's the day that the Lord has created. And what does the Lord tell me to do? Tells me to be glad and rejoice in it. And I promise you that if you're sitting here and you're watching this Facebook Live with a telephone, you already have something to rejoice about. So you got to be intentional about that, okay? There are things in our lives that are going to cause us to be scared and to worry and to stress and to be angry. There are every day. But there are also things in our life every day that if we take our eyes off of all of the stressful stuff and the scary stuff and the hard stuff and the out of control stuff and the confusing stuff, and we decide, I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to choose to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm going to choose to look for my blessings. I'm going to choose, and if I can't see any, well, then by golly, I'm going to choose to be a blessing. God shows up. God shows up to those things, and you are not doing it on your own strength. And you might have started out doing it on your own strength because God's tricky like that. He says this, well, I made you, and I know you, and I know the whole plan, and I know how strong you are, and I know that you yearn for love inside of there, and so I know you got it, and so do it. Do it. And then I'm going to show up. It's all throughout the Bible God did that. You know, before they stepped into the ocean, the Israelites, they were trapped. And oh boy, Pharaoh was behind them and a big ocean was in front of them. And they were like, what are we going to do? We are dead. They stepped in and he parted the seas. And a lot of this stuff may sound like nonsense. And you know, we didn't live back then. I believe it's all true. But at the end of the day, even if they're stories, okay? They're not. But let me just for argument's sake say, even if they are, they have life lessons behind them that are so, so true. You step out into faith. You step out into uncomfortableness. You step out into an area that you don't normally go into, and it is praise and joy and rejoicing and being glad. God shows up. God shows up, and peace shows up, and strength shows up, and discernment shows up, and all sorts of things. So that's prayer number one. Prayer number one is help. And then just remember, you only have today. So if you want to stay stuck in the past, you can choose to do that. If you want to stay stuck in the future, worrying and trying to control and trying to manipulate, you can do that. If you want to stay stuck trying to control and worry and manipulate other people and other situations, you can do that. But you don't have control over any of that stuff. What you have control over is what you choose to focus on today. So today, with that help prayer, I challenge you, focus on the good. Focus on the beauty. Focus on the blessings that you have. And again, if you don't have any, be one. Be one. Try that for a day. Instead of, Lord, what can you do for me? Lord, help me change me, help me change me. Go be a blessing. Oh man, the goodness that comes with blessing another person. If you've never done it, do it. Okay, second prayer is this. First one is help, help, help. Second one that you do every single day before you get out of bed. And I talk a lot, you guys, but these don't have to take a long time. Literally, you can go, help me, God. You know what's in my heart. You know what's in my mind. You know what's in my life. Help me. Help me, guide me, show me, fix me, change me. Help me with my unbelief. All of it. Help me with my anger. All of it. Help me with my fear. All of it. Bam. Help. Number 2 is this. Change me. Change me. Ooh, this prayer. If you dare to take this prayer, I am telling you what, you better put your brave boots on. You better put your rugged boots on, because this prayer is a life changer. Lots of times, again, everybody wants God to come in and change their significant other. Change them, Lord. They're the problem. Change their job. Just change the people that I work with or my boss. They're the problem, you know. Change my kids. Gosh, if my kids just had it right, I wouldn't be so stressed out. You know, we have a list of things that we want God to change. How often do you go, change me? Let everything else stay the way it is, God. You do what you're doing with everything else. Change me. That's the power prayer. Help me and change me. Here's the verses that go along with that. Psalms 139, verses 23 through 24 says this. This is your prayer to God. If you want to get nitty gritty, pray this actual prayer. Oh, God loves to hear the word of God repeated back to him. You want to talk about shaking the heavens and getting the ball moving. It's praying God's words back to him. You know what that is? That's your will and his will lining up. And when your will and his will line up, it's where the magic happens. But this change me part, this is the magic, but this is the painful magic where you got to grow and you got to bend and you got to obey and you got to surrender if you want to see the blessings of heaven. And it's the hardest part, you guys. It's the hardest part. God blesses us 1,000,000 times over anyways. But when you want it to come to you specifically, You got to do the work. Here's the prayer. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me and lead me to the way of everlasting. Oh, that is such a scary prayer. I pray it all the time, and it's no wonder I'm battling every day of my life to try to become a different person. Number one, search me. God, get in there. There's parts of us, you guys, that are buried so deep, that are so busted and broken, that we walk forward with our actions and our reactions based upon scars and feelings and perceptions and assumptions that are buried so deep down in there, we don't even know they're there. We just think it's just who I am. So number one, God, search me. Search me and find in there the things that I don't even know are in there. The second one is test me. Oh, I hate even saying that one out loud. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Because here's the deal. Wherever you are worried, wherever you are anxious, that means you don't have any God in there. You're not trusting God in that because you're worried about it. You think it's out of control. You think you got to control it or manipulate it or be concerned about it. So this prayer says, test me in it and know my anxious thoughts. And so when you're sitting there and now you're getting, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this. Those are the things you have got to give away to God. You got to give him away to God. He says, see if there's any offensive way in me. Lots of times we are so manipulating. We want somebody to do something. So we offer up this, suggestion to them. We go, I'm just doing it because I love you. I'm just doing it because I love you. Now, really, if you got way down in there, there's an offensive thing in you that really just, you're doing it because you're scared. So you want to control it. You're doing it because you're manipulating and you want to control it. You're doing it because it's how you do it, so you expect they to do it. It's an offensive way. You want to describe it as love, but truly it's an offensive way. So you tell God, search me, test me, and see if there's any offensive way. And then show me all of these things so I can choose to hear it, surrender it, and obey it, and lead me to the way that is everlasting. What is the way that is everlasting? Peace. Peace, that peace that you just can't even explain, even in the middle of the hardest times of your life. Joy, strength when you are like, I'm done, I'm over it. Something inside of you is like, no, you're not over it yet. I created you for more. You're stronger. You keep going. This is just part of the journey, man. Discernment is the biggie because we can go through life, even with peace in the middle of messes and even with joy, but having discernment, having to know when it's me, when I'm the problem, when I'm the offensive one, when I'm the dark one and I got to change, versus if it's somebody else and God says, this is not for you. You keep staying somewhere where it's not for you. It's no wonder you're going round and round and round versus this is you. Yeah, this situation is busted too, but you got a problem. And if you would change, everything would change. It's discernment and it's powerful, but you got to be willing to, hear what God's telling you, and you got to be willing to obey. Well, nobody wants to obey. We want God to change everything around us. You want your life to change. You say, help and change me. Now, let me put this out, and this is for any of the non-believers. This is for any of the new believers. This is just kind of a cover because I think that this is very important to know. This is out of 1 Corinthians. This is chapter 2, verse 14, and it says this. The person without the Spirit of Christ, the person without the Spirit does not accept things that come from the Spirit of God, but he considers them foolishness and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit. So I want to get on here for this point and remind you, if you have not invited Jesus into your heart, before you even mess with all of these prayers, you got to invite him in. You got to lower your head. It doesn't got to be some big old giant service. People say, no, you got to be baptized. The dude on the cross hanging there next to Jesus wasn't baptized. You know what he did? He believed in him. He believed in him, and Jesus said, I'll be seeing you in paradise today. We have time. So what you need to do before you do anything with these prayers, with any of this stuff that I'm trying to explain to you, you have got to invite God in. You have to. What do you have to lose? If you're not a believer and you're just watching these because why not? What do you have to lose? Nobody's going to know you did it. You do it in the privacy of your own home. It takes 5 seconds to humble your heart and make it honest and go, God, I want you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to do it on my own, and I don't even know if I believe in you, but I'm making a mess of things, and I'm tired of it. So please come and live inside of me. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Because if you don't do that, you are this verse. You are the verse that says the person without the Spirit doesn't even accept the things that come from the Spirit. It sounds like foolishness. And that is so true, because I remember back before I was a believer, and people would bring believing stuff to me. I was going through a divorce. I was partying all the time. I was a mess. Called it the reckless years. Kind of fun, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. Anything that religious people were throwing at me, I didn't believe it. I wouldn't hear it. I disagreed with it. It sounded like foolishness to me. And so it's going to sound like foolishness to you. You're not going to get it. You're not going to understand it unless you invite God in. So that's key. It's key. And then remember, it takes some time, okay? It takes time. It's like diet and exercise. You can't be diet and exercise one day. You decide, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to eat a salad today and work out, and then wake up tomorrow and be fit. That's not how it works. And that's not how this faith journey works. It is a relationship that you have to build like any other. It requires time because you have to trust it. You have to learn about the other person. You and Jesus. Jesus got his part and you got yours. And your part is the part that I'm talking about today. And these are your prayers. First one, help me. Second one, change me. Third one is this: give thanks. Give thanks. Gratitude is a game changer, because we can be doing all of these things. We can be praying to God, help, help, help. We can be praying to God, change me, change me, change me. And then we can get up and we can walk out our door and we can be a grouchy butt all day long. We can still be miserable all day long. We could still be looking at everything that is wrong instead of everything that is right. Gratitude is intentional. It is a choice. It is a decision. You get to choose. You want to take control over your daily role with things. It's a choice. Is it an easy choice? No, it's not. It's like, picking a carrot over a mozzarella stick. Is it an easy choice? No, it's not. But if I want for me to make me feel good and joyful and happy and live this life and thrive, I'm going to choose the one that's going to make my body feel better. Gratitude is going to make your body feel better. It changes things. There's a book I read. This book, anybody should read this. It's called, I think, Winning the War in Your Mind by Craig Groeschel. The Battlefield of the Mind by Winning the War in Your Mind by Craig Groeschel. You want to talk about such a good book, you guys. Our brains are so smart and they are so strong that once you have a thought, picture a cornfield, okay? Picture a cornfield. So once you have a thought, your first thought's got to knock down all that corn. You're weeding through, stuff's hitting you in the face. You're trying to come together with that thought. But once you have that thought again and again and again, basically what you're doing is you are creating a neural pathway. You're creating a path through that cornfield now. Eventually, after you've thought that thought just a few times, your brain doesn't even need help thinking it anymore. It naturally takes the path because it's the easiest path to take. It's a neural pathway. It's how your brain works. It tries to make your life easier. So if you tend to be a pessimistic person and a grouchy person and a not very thankful person, it's because your brain, it's already got a path. You have to be intentional about changing that path. You have to. You have to renew your mind. You have to think good thoughts. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18 says this. And sometimes you got to break these down. People read through these so quick, but there are key words in these verses that change everything when you're reading them. And this is 1 Thessalonians. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Jesus Christ. Okay, this is a 3-part of it. I'm pulling out of it. Give thanks in all circumstances. All circumstances. And that is very hard. But I can promise you now, I have been through enough scary trials, walking hand in hand with Jesus, where I don't feel thankful. I feel scared. I feel mad. I feel frustrated. I feel like, where are you and when are you going to show up? But I don't give way to my feelings. I just thank him, because I know he's doing something. I know he's doing something. He's either changing something around me or he's changing something in me. And that doesn't happen just because. When have you ever changed just because somebody told you change? Lots of times we sit there and go, I know. But we keep doing it the way we keep doing it. So this says, give thanks in all circumstances. So that means if you're in the middle of a battle right now, thank God for it. Thank him. You know what? Thank you. I know you're doing something. I don't see it. I don't like it. My feelings are opposite, but thank you. Thank him for what he's going to do. Believe that if you're struggling, there is a purpose for it. There is a plan for it. And if you stay walking hand in hand with Jesus, eventually you're going to get on the other side and you're going to see it. And you know, our timeline is not God's. I did one the other day talking about one day to God is like 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is like one day. You got to think about, you don't get into the Bible. Abraham and Sarah, they waited until she was barren. They were in their 90s before they had their first kid. Their first kid that was going to start the genealogy that was going to lead to Jesus. God's timing is not your timing. So in the middle of a mess, thank him in all circumstances. For this is God's will for you in Jesus Christ. That last part, in Jesus Christ, that is the key to this giving thanks. You cannot. Our flesh does not have the ability to stay thankful in all circumstances. You might be able to fake it for a week or two. You might be able to be like, you know what? I'm going to be thankful. I love everything. 2 weeks into that, life's not going to change. Nothing around is going to change. And about 2 weeks into it, you're going to be now annoyed because you've been so thankful, so full of gratitude and trying to get other people to do it. And you just can't understand. 2 weeks into it, you are going to be so resentful and you're going to be so angry. You're going to be worse off than you were when you started your little thankful journey in Jesus Christ. It's why you got to wake up in the morning and go, help. help me, because there's no way you can give thanks in all circumstances if you don't have him. In Jesus Christ, it is a relationship. It is a loyal, loving, intentional, connected, daily relationship. You could not be married and not talk to your spouse only when you need something. That would not work. You could not have a child and only talk to that child when they were in trouble. It's not how it works. You can't have a best friend and you don't ever talk to that best friend unless you're calling for advice. And then that's it. Those relationships, they start sucking. They start being sucking. Where Jesus comes in and says, take from me. Jesus says, I want to help you. I want to guide you. I want to show you. I want to love you. And I want to carry all of these burdens. And I have so much thankfulness. I want to give mine to you. So you've got to stay in Jesus. That means all day, you guys. All day. I remember my last job in California, which I loved so much. But you know, when you work with people, sometimes you can be friends with people. But when you work with them, you know, it's a different vibe. Whew! I would sit back in that room and just be like, okay, Lord, all right, these are your children and you love them, so I'm going to love them. And I'm not no better than them. And I don't know what they got going on in their life. And everybody is at a different chapter. And it would help me. It would help me calm myself and not be so expectant of these other people around me to be the way I want them to be. It would help me. And so you got to stay in Jesus. And he knows your thoughts. So if you can't pray out loud, pray in your head. These prayers, help me, change me, thank you. Help me, change me, thank you. And last one, this is the last one. And this is a challenge, okay? The other ones are easy. I mean, they're easy. They're just prayers. You just wake up, you open your eyes, you sit there for a minute and shake it off, and you go, I'm yours, God. I'm yours. Help me, change me, and thank you. And you just do that all throughout the day, even if it's those 3 words. He knows what you got going on. He just wants you to invite him in all day long. Help me, change me. And I promise you, you guys, you are going to get, and you spend a little bit of time in prayer in the morning like I talked to you about, and you listen to this and turn this off and say a little prayer and maybe listen to a worship song that I put on here. You do that every day. That spirit inside of you starts coming alive. It And honest to God, it just takes my breath away. It gives me chills because it is so unbelievable how something can come inside of you and completely fill you with this sort of love, not even only for yourself, but for others. It's mind-blowing, but it is real. Okay, this is the challenge. So do all those prayers every day and watch how your life changes. Watch how you start, that seed of your spirit starts coming alive, and you're gonna have to obey, and you're gonna have to surrender, and you're gonna have to bend. And sometimes you're gonna have to take the first step towards love. Lots of times you're gonna have to take the first step towards love. You want your husband to change. Oh man, if he would just trust me, I've been there. I've been there. You know what God said to me? First time I ever heard God's voice, I was crying about Brian. Crying, complaining. And God said to me, what about you? I hated it so much. It's exactly what God said to me. And I knew it was God because it wasn't me, because I was very focused on Brian. He said, what about you? Yeah, Brian's a mess. Yeah, he's got a lot of things he needs to deal with, and I'm dealing with that, God said. But what about you? You're being cold. You're being a brick wall when he comes up and tries to apologize. How do you think that would feel, coming up and apologizing for something and meeting coldness and darkness? You're not being forgiving. You're not showing grace. This is the man that I gave you. Grace, forgiveness. Ugh. That one cut me right to the core. But you know what? I heard it. And I knew it was God. And I knew it was true when I sat there with it long enough, and I decided I was going to stop blaming everything and everybody around me and putting all of my power, of my happiness and my joy and everything and everybody around me. And I listened to God, and I'm like, oh, I am unforgiving. I don't show grace. I am expectant. And here I was thinking it was because I was loving myself and I'm worth it. And really, it was just a fear because I couldn't control something. Okay, last one. This is the challenge. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Challenge. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. With all of it. All of your heart. Where's your heart at? Your heart is with your kids. Trust God with them. Your heart is with your marriage. Trust God with them. Your heart is with your money and your job. Trust God with it. Your heart is with your thoughts. Crazy thoughts. Trust God with it. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. And lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Okay, where's your heart at? Everything you love. So trust God with everything you love. Pray for it. He got you this far. That's what I tell myself all the time, especially with the kids. Got me this far. Took him over 40 years to open my eyes to him, because he had a plan and he had a purpose, and cool and great and wonderful. He's got your kids. He's got your spouse. He's got your job. He's got your money. Trust him with it. Trust him with it. It's going to free up a lot of your peace right there. Lean not on your own understanding. I know a lot of people, myself included, that want to understand it. Well, if I could just understand it, then I can wrap my brain around it. You're never going to understand God. You are never going to understand God. He is almighty. He is all powerful. He is not controlled by time. Jesus was a person, but God, you can't understand it. So if you're going to spend your time trying to understand it, why he does what he does, how he can allow what he allows, why there's bad, why this have to happen, why, take why and God out of your vocabulary, because you're not going to understand him, okay? Take why out, and then the next step is submit to him. Take the why out. All right, God, I'm not going to understand you. Fair enough. Submit to him. Submit to it. Get to know him. Get in the Bible. Get to know these truths. Try not to understand him. And if you can do that, if you can trust him, and if you can stop asking him why, trying to understand it, and you could submit to all the areas that you know are busted in you, and even busted around you, the people, places, things around you. Give them to God. That's submitting. God, take them. I'm not going to try to control it anymore. I'm going to trust that you've got it, and I'm going to pray behind it. I'm going to put all my anxiousness and my anger and my fear, my worry and my expectations, I'm going to put it in a prayer. I'm going to submit it and give it to you, and he will make your paths straight. and it is true. We carry around so much stuff that does not belong to us. We try to control and manipulate and worry about and stress about so much stuff that does not belong to us, and it is why we are anxious and tired and depressed, and every day feels like another day. You put these things into effect with intentionality. You are stronger than you know. And I promise you, you invite God in, you're done doing it alone. He's a quiet God, and he's a patient God, and he's a loving God, and he's a disciplined God. So if you're not going to eventually submit to him, he's going to put you in a million situations where you can't do it on your own. And it's not to be mean to you. It's because he's standing here over and over and over and over, chasing you down, going, I'm here. Let me help you. Let me show you how good I really am. So today, your deal today, when you get off of this, put your phone down, say those three prayers every single day before you get out in the morning, get out of bed, say those 3 prayers, sit with God for just a minute and say, me, help me, search me, change me, and thank you. Do it in the morning. Do it all day. I'm going to put a song on here. Plop it down. Listen to the song. Let that song be the cry of your heart to God. Whether it's, you're feeling it towards God or you're hearing that God is saying this towards you. He's real. God is real. Jesus is real. The power of the Holy Spirit is real. And how much of it you are going to get. If you're a believer, cool. You're going to heaven. Yahoo. We're not in heaven. We are here. And while I'm here, by golly, I want the most peace. I want the most joy. I want the most strength. I want the most discernment. I want the most gratitude. And I want the most love. God is the way to do it. He's here, you here, love each other, build a relationship, and take day by day. That second verse, Psalms 118:24. Today is the day. Today's the only day you got. God says, don't look back. Only look back to learn. Only look back to go, okay, I'm not going to do it like that again. That's it. Just only look back to learn. Look forward. Stay in your moment. There are so many moments we miss because we are in our heads. I have to be intentional about that every day, going, let me just stay in this moment. I'm never going to get this moment again. Have a beautiful, blessed day. I don't think I do these on the weekends. I think that I did a Spartan race last week. That's why I didn't do it. But, if the Holy Spirit wells up, you guys know I'm going to get on this. But remember, I'm not on social media. I'm only on social media. Post these, and then I'm off. So if you have any prayer requests, if you have any verse or any Bible stuff that you're like, what does the Bible say about this? And I've read it, but I don't understand it. Anything at all. We're doing this together. Okay, we're doing this together. So reach out to me Instant Messenger. And, I can do my best with that on Instant Messenger. Have a beautiful, blessed day. I thought these were going to be 5 minutes. It's obviously, they're never going to be 5 minutes. So I'll talk with you guys later. Love you all.